So as we continue this series on fighting the fish, this episode's going to be about bowing to the tarpon. As they used to say, bow to the king. So what did that really mean? Well, the old school idea was when a tarpon jumped and you were fighting him, everybody was afraid that that head motion of the tarpon could break your line. So they would instinctively lean to the fish, aim the rod at the fish, throw a lot of slack line into the fish. I don't like to do that. Now, I did that too 20 plus years ago. And let me tell you a couple of problems that I had. When I would throw line at the fish, his head would go back and forth. A lot of times the fly would just pop out. I lost a lot of fish that way. Or when I would throw it at it and it would greyhound away, I actually had the line spin around, catch around his tail. So when the tarpon hit back in the water, as soon as his head went one way, he kicked with his tail, he broke the tippet. Or when it would hit, it would greyhound away, and now I've got a straight rod at the fish. That's something you don't ever want to happen. That is just not good. So I came up with a better way, at least a better way that I think works really well for me. And I got to tell you, for the last 20 years using this method, I can't remember the last time either a tarpon fell off or I broke it off during the fight. So let's talk about that today. So in other episodes that are coming, I'm going to show you how I fight the tarpon, and I fight it, as I've told you, with a really big bend in my rod. As you can see, it goes all the way in like this. So what happens? As the fish goes up, I'm watching the fish. When he breaks the water, I elevate the rod. Now, I've still got a good bend in the rod, but I've released some of the tension on the line because I'm going to use the rod like a shock absorber. So when he goes away, I give him a little bit, but still keep some tension in the line so that it's not free. If he goes left, I walk him left. If he goes right, I walk him right. He goes back in the water, I immediately go right back and assume that fighting position. I don't let the tarpon breathe. So again, I'm fighting him, got a big bend in it. He starts to go up. I lift the rod up to where pretty much I'm above his head so that that fly line can't get in his tail, can't get wrapped around him. It stays above. He goes left. I walk it left. Like I said, I use my arms as a shock absorber, keep good tension in the line, not enough to break it because I'm allowing the rod to flex. It flexes right, it goes left, he goes in the water, I go right back to this fighting position. I got to tell you, I've been doing this for almost 20 years now on that motion, and it works really, really well for me. It's going to take some practice, but you're going to want to give this a try. I just don't think anything good comes from throwing slack into the tarpon or aiming straight at the tarpon, as I'll talk about on future episodes. So give this a try. Use that rod as a shock absorber. Walk him back and forth, back and forth. As he goes in the water, you turn and you go right back into that position, that fighting position. It's worked really good for me. And I think if you do this, practice it, make it your own, it could work really well for you too. So give it a try.